Welcome back to Lenz Comic Corner, Classic Less Known Classics. This is episode number 2685 and Doubleshot 2579. I got two X-Men trades. Both are finales for runs. First up, have is Mutants Lethal Legion. This is the last thing that Charlie Anders, or if this is a 5-issue limited series, or it's mostly it's just the lethal. It's basically the lethal. It's basically New Mutants basically kind of becoming New Legion for these issues. And of course, Captain Fardy is here. I think Graviton is here. Of course, you were thinking, who the heck is the guy with the spider legs? Well, that's the Shadow King. Yes. The boogeyman that's constantly hunting the mutants. It's a very interesting miniseries, what it is, and sadly put, here's the strange thing about this. When this miniseries came out, I'm like, wait, why isn't an issue of mutants coming out? Why is this a miniseries? Because the book got canceled after 33 issues. It was actually a pretty good run under Veda Alla, and then Charlie Anders could go toward the end of the book for some reason. The book ended after only 33 issues, which makes it probably the third longest run in the history of Mutants. Yeah, third longest. Of course, longest being the original volume for the series. That was actually the fourth volume for New Mutants. You're thinking, wait, fourth? The original was 100 issues. The second volume was 13 issues. The third volume was 50. And this last one was basically 33. There's also a little bit of undercover stuff, spy stuff, but really fun miniseries. I did enjoy this. Give this book roughly 9 out of 10. Oh, the artwork is done by Eldon Baldum, with the cover done by Javier Ferreras. Does the first 3 issues covers with Matthew Wilson, and Eric Arguila does the cover for issues 4 and 5. Final thoughts on the New Mutants of the Krakoa era. Of course, they do reference in here one of the things that start from the run, from Hickman's run, when they were off in half he was up in space, the other was on Earth. I did like the idea of bringing back New Mutants for the Krakoa era, because it's been a while. And also, what do we describe this book? It's like, okay, so any young X-Men not on one of the other teams, shove in this book. Yeah. There's some people who basically, you think New Mutants, you think of Cannonball, Sunspot, Moonstone, Moonshine, I think her name is, Danny Moonstone, who's, I can't remember her Mutant's name. Even Doug Ramsey's not in this book at all, despite him being associated with New Mutants. Yeah, he's mostly in the main X books, basically, because he's the Krakoa speaker. Because he speaks for the Island Krakoa, because, of course, Warlock is merged with him. Mostly in his arm, because he can talk techno stuff. And there was also this weird scene all in the X Factor, where he woke up in bed, and Danger slept with him, despite that Warlock was in love with her. Yeah. But this book is quite interesting for what it is. I do like the fact that you got a chance to have humans interact with the Marvel villains, per se. I found that quite interesting. But I thought Viola did a great job with the book. I'm not sure why he left for. He did something I did like. I mean, here's the thing. The reception I've heard to Krakoa era is that some people like it, a lot of people hated it. The main reason why, because it doesn't feel like X-Men. It feels like someone's idea for X-Men doesn't fit the ideas that the fans like for X-Men. But lucky enough, basically, the Krakoa era is about to be over really soon. Yes, once the current thing is over, all the books are going to be relaunched. Because Marvel likes to hit that restart button. And surprisingly, no New Mutants. I didn't see New Mutants part of the lineup. Because I recently saw X-Force as part of the lineup. Yes. All right, next up is a book that, as far as I can tell, there's no plans to bring it back. And here's the thing. When this book is coming out, I was hearing that this book was really terrible and, like, they described it as so really awful. I'm like, and this is Thinking Critical basically saying this. I'm like, what book were you reading? I mean, what is your problem with Steve Orlando's run for Marauders? This is basically the Secretary of the Collective run. Yeah, this book is thick. Look how thick that book is. This collects Marauders Volume 2, Issues 6 to 12, and the Before the Fall Sons of X. Steve Orlando, of course, does the writing here for all the issues. Yeah. He actually also does the for the Fall First Strike. The artwork for the issues, you have Andrea Barrico, this issue 6, and cinematography by Inaria Cree. Valentina Posci does the art for the annual, the special, the one shot. Excuse me. The cover art for the main issue 6 to 7 is Neil Kanil Nagu. Peach Mamako does 8 through 10. 11 to 12 is Kim Jinko, and apparently this is special thanks to Al Ewing. Interesting. The line for these issues are Kitty Pryde, Bishop, Psylocke, Dakin, Lockard, Amora, Sominus, Tempo, Birdie, and Cassandra Nova. So after a whole thing with Heat and Pain, we start out with the odds of destruction, was mostly put. You see, this era for Marauders is mostly all about rescue mutants. And I'm like, what's wrong with that? Yes. Also, Scalp Hunter is part of the team, too. Yeah, he joined the team right after Fallen 8. I think he's he'd be a recurring character to look at the Fallen 8 after Helion's, I think it was Helion's, ended. And then we see North Star with his husband. There's this weird possession thing going on. In these issues. I mean, does anyone find it weird that Charles Xavier's sister basically is on the team? And then here comes Yesterday. A lot of it's like Rescue Mutants. It's slowly wrapped up the book itself. It's not terrible per se, but it's like, okay. It's like a bunch of, and then for some reason we see the return of Strife. Yes, Strife. Who was last seen in Cable Volume 4. Yes, he's back here for major issues of this run. Because of course he is. And Cassandra Jumper goes nuts in these issues. And of course, they said the Free Laws Man, make more mutants, murder the man, respect save land, the spark. Yeah, and then we see Kurt in this book. Who's got horns now? A friend of mine, basically, we saw him in the House of X miniseries, thought he basically just rejected his own religion and just basically joined a cult. I barely remember that, and apparently that was a turnoff for him when it comes to this era. Because, like, a lot of the X-Men just basically is not the X-Men he grew up with. Some might think, like, oh, you like new stuff. He just didn't like it. There's a reference in here to X-Men 44, which that's interesting. And then, for some reason, they decided to have the Marauders go to Genosha. You know, the 4 mutant nation run by Magneto, where population was massacred by Cassandra Nova's Tri-Sentinel. Yep. Yeah, it just here. I'm not. It just seems kind of weird. Like first we make Strife in this book, and they're back Genosha. Yeah, and then it's not the only thing returns here. Oh no. Yeah, and then because we have to reference Grant Morrison's new X-Men book, we see return of another character in here. Oh, by the way, look, it's the headquarters of X Factor. Yes, that is the headquarters of X Factor. Well, the cover, anyways, will have book got axed. And then toward the end of this book, I think it was this book, anyways, where I think I did see in here there was a return of a character pops in these issues. Where is he? Basically, they brought back John Sublime, who has not been seen since Brian Woods on X-Men. And this book here, just like a new team of this is basically Marauders and like new uniforms. Yeah, where this team is comprised of Tridge, Angel, Tempo, Penance, Jean Grey, Bishop, Storm, Cyclops, and Iceman. It could be like the early days of Krakoa, maybe. It's just leads into the fall of Krakoa. It is interesting what it is, but now those might be thinking, okay, so the thing mentioned here about AXE, Avengers, X-Men Eternals, Judgment Day. Does an issue of this book deal with this crossover? I believe so. Yeah, Marauders, it was just issue 6. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just issue 6, where it's mostly... we also get something in the issue by Judas Traveler. Also, the character Dirtnap gets killed off toward the end of the book. He gets briefly revived. Dirttrap is a Wolverine villain, gets briefly revived in this book. You think he wait? Some might be thinking, Judas Traveler, as in one of the characters from the Clone Saga of the 90s? Yeah, he's part of Orosius for, well, he was. Yeah, it's kind of weird, the fact he's even here. Yeah, which, by the way, prior to this book, like, the last physical appearance by this guy was in Giant-Sized Thunderbird. Yeah, but prior to that book, last anybody saw him that wasn't Osmond Journals was Amazing Spider-Man 417, which came out in 1996. And that was last time anybody saw Judas Traveler. Now he currently appears in digital books. Oh yeah, the team we saw, that's a response team. So so Icarus, Joshua Gertrude is back. Yeah, he gets revived in this one shot. He was killed and he was brought back. Yeah, I'm like, okay. Like, why the heck would you wait so long to bring this guy back for the dead? Also, they get rid of the Heritage Initiative, something that Mark... It was basically anti-mutant think tank that basically debuted an X-Men Gold, and they're gone with this book. Mm-hmm. Now, some might think, hey, what happens to the Marauders team? This version, anyways. Did they disband? No. Well, Cassandra Chevalier quit the team with the final issue of the book. I mean, what happened to members? Let's first talk about Daken. Daken got killed off Wolverine. Again. Lockhead. Kitty Pryde's best friend Dragon. Who's also kind of her pet. Once this book wrapped up, he kind of popped up in Storm Shake's most of those flashlight books, but in present day, X-Men 32, which I think that's when it was also the issue where Magic rejoins the main X-Men team. Mm-hmm. You're thinking, okay, Kitty Pryde herself will ever join the main X-Men team. Amora. What did she do right this book wrapped up? Well, she would actually rejoin Alpha Flight. Yep. And then return. Then she later appeared in Wolverine books. Mm-hmm. Yep. Kanan, who in my opinion was Psylocke from the start. Yeah, because when I first read X-Men comics, that was the look I saw for Betsy Braddock. After this book wrapped up, she, well, at the appearance of Captain Marvel books, she later joined the Uncanny Avengers. Yep. And the most recent appearance was in Miss Marvel Mutant Menace #1. Oh, by the way, the end of the miniseries, did the team disband? No. As for Bishop, after this book officially wrapped up, he later became part of the Bishop War College book. Mm-hmm. And the most recent thing he's done was appear in the Children of the Vault miniseries. Yeah. How about Summonus? Who was a Steve Lano character he just had included in the book. Yeah, after this book wrapped up and appeared in that one shot, next time he appeared in a book that was digital book was the Scarlet Witch Annual. And that was the last time I saw him. Was the annual. Yep. Johnny D, who appeared in this book too. Yeah, he's a creation of David Hayne. Which, prior to him appearing in the last couple issues of this book, last time he appeared was in Civil War X-Men. Yeah, I was right. He did appear in these issues, and I was definitely correct. His last appearance was actually in Brian Wood's X-Men. Yeah, he appeared for a few issues of this book, and then he didn't appear ever again. So yeah, I was right about that. Mm-hmm. Also found out she had to fight Bushwhacker. Yes, Bushwhacker. But that's this series in a nutshell. Final thoughts on this run from Marauders. By the way, I give this book a 9 out of 10. I found this book quite interesting for what it is. Yep, I found nothing wrong with it. The only thing I didn't like, though, is the fact that we had to end this book after only 12 issues. Yeah, we restarted this book after Gary Duggan had his amazing run this book. And this is a weird thing, though, with Gary Duggan. This book and Sad Avengers get relaunched, and they get canceled after a year. Sad Avengers lasted for 10 issues. This lasted for 12. 12. Though it could be canceled due to low sales, possibly. But you might be thinking, okay, Marauders is over. Is there any X-Men series published right now? Is Wolverine still published? Is this current volume still being published? Yes. Though it's wrapping up really soon. It's wrapping up next month. The last 2 issues come out next month. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then the book going to get restarted. Yep. They're restarting this book. Yeah, I did see that. They're going to restart it. I'm not sure why. I know X-Men's getting restarted, and they're bringing back Uncanny X-Men. Yeah. But it's kind of like, okay, what's going to happen with Marauders? What's happening with the team itself? Who knows? But I think Bishop did see he was going to be one of the X-Men teams. I think he's on one of them. I don't know which one it is, but he's on one of them. But yeah, that's pretty much a particular view. Okay, so please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and do not hit that dislike button. Next up, another Comic Corner. Okay, next view. Bye.